Hello, welcome to my channel, Save Infinity. In this video, I just wanted to kind of, talk about, with the energetic environment in our reality at the moment, how it can, seem quite heightened at times with so many issues and such, going on around the world or even in your own personal reality. Just a reminder to not, get too caught up in it in a way that it, brings you out of balance with your own energy and, using some discernment and balance in that aspect. It's important to be aware of things going on and to, participate in ways that, you can take action to help such things and bring about positive change, but not being, so caught up in such, energies that it is, not actually helping make any change occur, but is just bringing your own energy and inner state down, especially with things, like TV and social media and all the access we have to these sort of issues all around the world, being able to just be, constantly blasted in front of us. Just having some of that balance and discernment in that aspect of, not always feeding that into your own inner system in a way that it, overwhelms you and isn't actually, benefiting you or anyone in any way. Witness and digest what you can, as we also need to see these things to, heal and alchemize them and all of that sort of stuff out of, our own consciousness and the collective consciousness and energies and what have you. Just being ignorant and oblivious to things just lets them grow and fester. So, not turning a complete blind eye, but just witnessing and digesting in a way to a level that you are able to, perceive and allow that to flow through your experience in whatever way works for you. Taking action and steps, where you can and where you have, the energy and capacity to do so. But then also taking time to, rest and retreat and take a break from such things as well, so that you're protecting your own energy and experience as well, to not become so overwhelmed that you're harming yourself or burdening yourself or, just rolling around in such energies that aren't actually, bringing about any change, and you're just kind of looping around in those, lower, denser energies, and it doesn't, actually make a change or an impact to yours or anyone else's experience, rather than disrupting and upsetting your own nervous system and, bringing your own experience down. One person isn't meant to fix everything. We're not meant to fix the whole entire world by ourselves, we're not even necessarily meant to fix the whole entire world. We're all here just to, do what we can, do our own part, and we're also allowed to, as part of that, take care of our own self and our own experience as well. You're allowed to take time and space for yourself. You're allowed to protect your own energy and nervous system. That's not being selfish or, not doing your part or anything like that. No one's a super soldier in any way that they can just, go and do all these great grand things, or, take on the world's problems or take on other people's problems and, fix it all. People are also responsible for themselves and, their own experience, and we can help others and help ourselves, but do so in a way that we're not overburdening our own capacity and our own needs and our own, health and rest. You don't need to have guilt or shame in that sort of aspect at all. That is what healthy balance includes. It includes taking care of yourself as well, and knowing that, you can't, solve all the problems, and not everything's going to be fixed in one day. Even if chaos, surrounds you, or, chaos is present in your reality or greater reality, still being able to take time to have that balance, to enjoy yourself, and still take time to enjoy your own life in ways that you can. Even, someone like Jesus himself, wasn't out there letting all that sort of, violence and all the, terrible things going on to consume him either. And he didn't hang around in places where he wasn't received, and where his message wasn't received so well. He didn't let those sort of things to consume him completely either. He had times where he retreated back to his own space, did his own thing, and then came back out again into the public, to share his message and do his deeds. But he wasn't just 24/7 constantly running around like a super soldier, Superman, healing and fixing the world, and he didn't heal everyone. He didn't, fix and solve every problem. He did what he could do at his capacity, and still took time for rest, for integration, for, taking time away for himself and recouping and regenerating. He didn't heal everyone, he didn't convince everyone, and he didn't need to still, leave an impact and do so much, greatness for the world. And he didn't sacrifice, discernment for, compassion for others, and, didn't allow his discernment and time for himself and taking care of himself to be overrun by trying to, help and heal others as well. And as difficult as it can be at times as well, also not trying to let, certain things that can be going on in, the world, the greater reality, your own reality, kind of let your thoughts and mind spiral too much into, what ifs or negative possibilities or doomsday prophecies or things like that, because, that what isn't here yet in our present reality isn't here yet, and so the future is still so undetermined in so many ways. There's an infinite amount of timelines, if you will, that we can tune into and manifest into our reality. So not letting such things that are going on at the moment cloud or dictate your vision or your beliefs for the future, or the pathway we want to try to forward. As discouraging as all those sort of, energies going on in the present moment can be, still just being, in the present moment, in that aspect that you're not, kind of doomsday prophesizing or thinking too much about these negative what ifs for the future, staying in the present moment of what is, occurring now, or what has occurred, and transmuting and alchemizing those energies. And also, not being discouraged in the sense that, all these things happening means something terrible is going to continue to happen or will happen. Just that sometimes, these things have to come up to be purged, to be witnessed, to be heard, seen and healed, to then be alchemized and transmuted in that way, so that we don't keep looping around in these cycles with these energies, not letting them sit below the surface and festering and growing into something bigger, letting them come to the surface to be seen, witnessed, heard, healed, alchemized, transmuted, so that we can, move away from that loop and ascend higher into, higher energies or frequencies or vibrations, or however you like to, look at it and perceive it. So as difficult, as it can be at times, just trying not to get too discouraged by all that, and stay more into that balance, and taking that time to look after your own nervous system and your own health, and still enjoying, life and the things in your own reality that you do enjoy and want to delve into, to still fill your own cup up, so that you are able to then, fill other people's cup up, so to speak. Knowing that, no whatever is going on, you're still allowed to enjoy your own experience. And it's, actually beneficial to have those, positive and happy and joyful energies circulating around during a time like now as well. Not in a way where we'll become completely, ignorant or oblivious in any way, or have, a lack of empathy in that regard. But also not doing so in a way that would become a complete martyr to such, chaotic energies, that we then, really sacrifice our own health and our own experience and our own happiness. Really having that balance in that way. All right, well, might leave this one here for now. Sending you so much peace, love, light, and blessings as always. Bye.